Herzlich willkommen, Sianamgela, and welcome to the Bundesliga Connection with Chris Harrington on the SL Podcast in partnership with DW Berlin.
It's time for the latest from Germany's domestic football league, the Bundesliga, and more. For that, we are joined by Chris Harrington from our partner station Deutsche Welle in Berlin, Germany. Chris, Dortmund's Sebastien Haller was subbed in the match against Augsburg. It turned out to be a high-scoring affair that ended in Dortmund's favor.
Yeah, we saw Sebastien Haller actually sub into the match. He was gifted some custom-made Nikes that said F-word cancer on the side of them. I'm sure a lot of people can resonate and agree with that message, given how vicious that disease has been to many loved ones around the world. But Sebastien Haller, after the match, he received just an unforgettable welcome. That's what he had to say. He said it was so noisy. There were actually images of him playing on the pitch with his son after the action. But as far as the action, Borussia Dortmund have so much young talent. It's becoming, kind of ridiculous if they can't pull off better performances and do better in the standings. But this was back and forth. The way Jude Bellingham dazzled the defense of Augsburg to open the scoring. The 19-year-old is on the radar of a lot of clubs all over Europe. And reason he shows the defense is why week in and week out, including the World Cup. But Augsburg quickly answered back. What made this match very interesting is the recent matchups have been very close. You haven't seen a handful of matches scored in this particular fixture, but, once the flood gates open, they didn't really stop. It was a back and forth. Schlotterbeck gave Dortmund their lead, and then Augsburg leveled once again, and then another youngster, Jamie Bino Gittens, came through with a beautiful goal, nearly took the head off of Jude Bellingham in the process, but then 1 minute later, Augsburg levels once again, and in the end, it was a fellow compatriot, an American, Gio Reyna, that saved the day for Borussia Dortmund with the beautiful game-winning goal very late in the match. And what made that even better is that Gio Reyna was tied into a lot of drama during the World Cup with the United States men's national team. A lot of drama. You can look into that if you'd like, but it's good to see him focused on domestic duty. And the one thing I could say, the takeaway is Dortmund, they have the talent, they have the offense. They need to tighten up their defense. That's one thing that's very clear. Right now, they're still sixth in the standings despite the victory. But nonetheless, it was a beautiful match, a very entertaining match. You didn't know how it would end, but Dortmund got it done in front of a home crowd. It was nice to see Haller make his return. It would have been better to see him score. But nonetheless, Dortmund, we have to wait and see if they can climb in the standings. They're at Mainz next, but it was definitely quite the roller coaster ride.
Bayern got the goalkeeper they wanted and are still leaders despite dropping points with Leipzig. Should Bayern be concerned?
Well, Yann Sommer came in and Julien Nagelsmann had said a new goalkeeper would only need about 15 minutes to prepare himself. Yann Sommer actually performed fairly well. There was a level affair. It was 1-1. Obviously it would have been a better debut if Bayern would have won and he would have picked up a clean sheet. Yann Sommer actually wanted the goal that they conceded to be considered offside, but the official wasn't hearing that. Offensively, Bayern are good. They're solid. Eric Choupo-Moting has continued to delight, and produce results, leading the Bayern attack. Jamal Musiala didn't have the best match in midfield. I think he might still be suffering from a bit of World Cup hangover. But all in all, you expected the emotions to be there. Nagelsmann used to coach at RB Leipzig, so it does make sense that Leipzig stepped up. But Leipzig only picking up a point, they actually drop as a result in the standings. So all in all, in terms of Bayern being concerned, actually Bayern have increased their cushion at the top. It was 4 points, but now it's 5 points because Freiburg lost. They got beat up very badly this past match day. So I don't think Bayern should be concerned. I think a defeat would have obviously been more, for Bayern to worry about, but a point is a point nonetheless. And we have to see moving forward. I still think Bayern have dominated the Bayern Bundesliga for about the past decade, exactly the past decade. They're going for their 11th straight under Nagelsmann. Their depth, their talent. I think a team would have to do a lot to dethrone Bayern Munich. I just don't see that happening. So I don't think they should be too concerned with the draw. Leipzig are no joke. Leipzig have been a quality side all season long, even stretching back to last season. So a highly contested affair was expected, and that's what we got.
Chris, the home teams dominated this past match day. Which were some of the more impressive results?
You know, I was watching the action. I started picking up on that. And then at the end of the day, 30 goals were netted for the home teams, only 11 for the away sides, and only one home side lost. That was Gladbach, who lost to Leverkusen, and Javi Alonso 2-3. But in terms of the most impressive victories, Freiburg got fried by Wolfsburg 6-0. That was a huge statement considering Freiburg was second in the standings. And then Cologne burned Bremen 7-1. It was Cologne's biggest win in 40 years. That's an American touchdown. The lion's share of goals were scored by those two sides, Wolfsburg and Cologne. And, it was fascinating to see. I thought the trend would continue. And the last match, fittingly was Gladbach and Leverkusen to close out the match day. And Gladbach didn't get the clean sweep done for the home sides. But nonetheless, so many goals. Bayern, one thing about the Bundesliga, you will see a lot of goals being scored, and this weekend was not an exception.
And before we let you go, Chris, just like always, what else has hit your radar?
Yeah, well, the standings at the top changed a bit, and I think they will change again. When you look at them, teams 2 through 4 are level on points. They're level on points at 30. And, that's Frankfurt. That is Frankfurt, Union Berlin, and Freiburg. They're all level. And then you look at RB Leipzig at 5 and Dortmund at 6. I mean, it's so tight in the standings. A victory will change things a lot. And one interesting matchup to look forward to is Freiburg. They got bumped down a bit. Now they're 4th. They host Frankfurt, who are coming off a win. That should be a very interesting fixture. And Muani, Frankfurt's leader assist man, picked up another assist over the match day. So they're looking quite good. And I'll be here to give you the results as soon as the dust settles.
Thank you very much for the Bundesliga update, Mr. Chris Harrington from our partner station Deutsche Welle in Berlin, Germany. Have a fantastic day further.
Dankeschön und auf Wiedersehen.
The Bundesliga Connection is a team effort driven by the following incredible individuals. The show is hosted by Aidan Hewitt and Chris Harrington. It is produced by Chris Harrington. It is edited by Aidan Hewitt and Uli Presch, and graphics are provided by David Scullard.